eating dinner. We're eating dinner. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, and I'm back with another recipe for my How to Cook Vegan for Beginners series. I hope you are loving it as much as I am. Today I have my third recipe to share with you, and it is a dinner recipe. How appropriate. First we did breakfast, then we did lunch, and now I've got dinner. This recipe I couldn't wait to share it with you. I actually adapted it from the Minimalist Baker website. It's a creamy garlic and mushroom pasta dish, but she actually did it with roasted Brussels sprouts, and I tried it that way first and loved it, but I kind of love mushrooms even more, so I incorporated mushrooms into this and some peas, and it is so good. It's such a creamy sauce, and it is so delicious, so check it out. Okay, so I know there's a bit more ingredients here for this dish than what I've been showing, but it is dinner and it doesn't take that much more prep. I do have some chopped garlic here. I have vegan butter. Arrowroot is going to be the thickener for this sauce, and then the nutritional yeast, which makes everything so cheesy. I am using an addition of vegan Parmesan cheese, and make sure you look for the one that actually says vegan on the top, because they do have one that says, I think, lactose free, but it still does have milk in it. Some mushrooms, and I use Baby Bella's. I have my salt and pepper here, almond milk, but you can use soy milk if you prefer, and I'm actually going to be putting some green peas into mine instead of the Brussels sprouts. Hitting it with some white wine, and if you guys don't use wine or alcohol in your cooking, you could just hit it with some vegetable stock instead. You're going to want to pick your pasta, and I kind of love penne, so I'm using that for this, but anything would work, spaghetti or linguine or shells or spirals, really whatever pasta you'd like. I've been in love with this brand. It is called Banza pasta, and it's made from chickpeas. And I love it because compared to regular pasta, it is loaded with protein. It has way less carbs in it and a lot more fiber. So I really do love this pasta. But again, you can use whatever pasta you like the best. So I'm just going to get my pasta water boiled up with a pretty good amount of salt in the water. Alright, so now that I have my pasta cooked, I'm just going to set that aside, and now I've got my vegan butter, or you could use oil, and my chopped garlic in a saute pan, and we're just going to get that butter melted, and then that garlic will start to brown slightly. I'm actually going to add in my mushrooms now, so that they could start to cook down a little bit. Now at this point you can start to see that your garlic is going to start to brown a little bit. We don't want to cook them more than that because then it gets burnt and it doesn't taste good. So at this point you're going to hit it with that white wine. And again, if you're not a fan of using alcohol in your cooking, you could definitely just use vegetable stock in place of that. And you know what they say, don't ever cook with a wine that you wouldn't drink. So now that my mushrooms have cooked slightly, it's just been a couple of minutes, I am going to remove them at this point just into a separate bowl, and then allow that sauce to continue cooking down. The wine is going to reduce out of there, the alcohol is going to cook off. So now I'm going to add the arrowroot, and the almond milk. Now you'll see that it's going to get really clumpy like this, but that's okay because we're going to be transferring this whole thing to a blender. And now we're going back to the skillet, and we're going to cook this until it thickens and starts to get bubbly. We're going to adjust the taste with the salt and the pepper. So now add the mushrooms, the peas, and the pasta. And dinner is served. It wasn't that difficult to prepare. I hope that you guys will try this recipe because it is so good. You do need a couple extra things to pull this one off, but if you have a food processor or a blender, that's really all you need, and a saute pan, of course. Now, as I mentioned in the original recipe, Dana used roasted Brussels sprouts in hers, which I did try and I loved, but I thought that the mushrooms was sort of an easier route to go, but you could really use any vegetable that you like in this recipe. Now, one thing that I did do, I didn't add the whole box of pasta, and I'm not really sure why I did that, except I was thinking like I was going to eat this whole thing all to myself, and so I only added half a pasta, which made my sauce extra super creamy, which isn't a bad thing, but it really could use a little bit more pasta, and I probably should have just cooked the whole box anyway, because then you could eat this like, this is really would serve about 4 people, honestly. So usually I do make the full batch in its regular quantity and then just eat it for like lunch tomorrow and then dinner again. So anyway. Super extra cheesy sauce is not a bad thing. Now, I added in my crispy smoky bacon from my tofu scramble recipe, which I think is a really great addition here for this dish. It really does add another layer of flavor. It's so good. You can obviously leave that part out though. All right, guys, I hope you're liking this series and I hope you're enjoying the food. I hope that you make these recipes. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a like, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the new great videos that I've got going on. Of course, I do have more baking videos coming at you this week, so stay tuned for more. It's getting good here at Gretchen's Vegan Bakery.